Well, there are fears about the future of Schengen zone, which has 26 member countries and allows passport-free travel within these countries, because many of the member countries of the Schengen zone are demanding border controls because of the Middle Eastern refugee crisis. 6 of these countries, France, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Germany and Austria, have already put in border controls for a period of 6 months as a temporary move. However, several other countries are demanding a 2-year extension of the border controls so that the influx of refugees can be prevented. Yes, there can be. Article 26 of the Schengen Act allows, under exceptional circumstances, to extend border controls for a period of 2 years, 6 months at a time. So you can do it 4 times, that comes to 2 years. However, this is not going to be an easy process because there will be a cost to pay. The advantage of the Schengen area in EU was that there was free movement of people and goods. Now, if you prevent the free movement of goods, there is an economic cost to pay. If you prevent the free movement of people, you have to put in border checkposts, put in border police, immigration officials, and Europe hasn't seen these kind of border checks for 20 years, so there will be an investment in that. There are also those who fear that once you put these border checks in place, they will be very difficult to dismantle, and the very idea of Europe might get eroded in the long run. Well, because Europe was very welcoming of Syrian refugees. You would remember that German Chancellor Angela Merkel made a statement saying that Germany would welcome Syrian refugees with open arms. However, over time, what was a compassionate offer by the German Chancellor and by the European Union in general converted itself into a regular migration stream, and the proportion of Syrians coming as migrants has drastically fallen. In fact, EU estimates say that in December last year, only 1/3 of the people coming into Europe were escaping from any conflict, Syria included. The rest were regular migrants. So Europe does not want to be flooded by these migrants who are not eligible for refugee status, yet are entering Europe illegally, are in holding camps, and there is an administrative cost involved in assessing whether they are refugees who deserve asylum or they don't deserve. And they are a problem at hand because so many people coming into Europe have to be fed, have to be housed, and have to be processed. Well, there are those who believe that terrorists have already embedded themselves as refugees who are in Europe, and that they will continue to do so, that is, embed themselves as refugees who will come to Europe in future. And why do they want to embed themselves? They believe that they will set up terrorist cells in Europe and use them to attack European countries. And these fears have been exaggerated after the terrorist attacks in Paris, the killing in San Bernardino in California, and the sexual molestation cases in Cologne, for which Middle Eastern migrants and North African migrants were blamed. However, we must remember that Europe has seen terrorism even before the Syrian crisis. The London underground bombings were before the Syrian crisis. There were terrorist attacks in Paris, several of them before the Syrian crisis. So the real fear is not so much of embedded terrorists, although they will increase the terrorist threat, but also of local jihadis, that is youngsters, Muslim youngsters who've gone to Syria and have got radicalized and come back, young Christian converts who became Muslims and again went to join the ISIS in Syria and Iraq. When they come back, they will also be a terrorist threat. The point therefore is that what is happening in Europe is, yes, terrorism may be growing, there may be a terrorist threat, but there's also a growth of xenophobia and racism in the context of the refugee influx. Well, because the predominant route that refugees are using is through Turkey. They come to Turkey, contact people smugglers, get into rickety boats, and try and make their way to nearby Greek islands. Turkey has been asked by EU to keep these people in holding camps, and Turkey extracted a price for it. Last September, it asked for aid from EU. EU decided to give it 3 billion euros to contain the refugees within Turkish soil till they are processed. However, Turkey neither has the wherewithal nor the desire to have so many people on its soil. and they therefore keep making their way to Greece. So Greece, being the easternmost frontier of, along with Italy, of Europe, gets these people and just registers them and let them march all the way to Germany or Austria or wherever they want to go. So Greece is being told that you be the gatekeeper of Europe, but it doesn't have the capacity, the machinery, or the money to be the gatekeeper of Europe. When it agreed to hold about 160,000 refugees in camps, it was told that they would be relocated in various European countries. However, European countries have not agreed to a proposal of EU to have, take responsibility for a certain number of refugees, have a quota for each country. So out of 160,000 refugees who were to be relocated, only 414 have been relocated as yet. So Greece doesn't take the promises of relocation seriously, and now it is being asked to prepare to hold 300,000 refugees. I cannot see how Greece can do that. There have been some proposals that Greece should be excluded from the Schengen area. That is, contract the Schengen area, keep Greece out, so that Greece does not become the staging point for entering Europe. However, the Greeks have protested this already, but this is not a formal proposal. This is, they say, is part of the blame game banter, and Greece wants these ideas to be given up immediately. It is highly unlikely that Schengen area would be shrunk and the Greeks would be kept out. The decision on this has to be taken by May this year. That is when the 6-month period, the temporary period of extending border controls ends. This issue will also come up in February before the EU summit, and European leaders at that point will have to take a decision. So they will have to consider whether they want to erode the idea of Europe itself. The European idea was premised on pooling sovereignty, having a common market, having a common currency, and having a free travel zone. If you take away any of these ideas, the idea of Europe itself gets whittled down, and I doubt very much whether European leaders would want to whittle down the idea of Europe.